Alright guys, what's up everybody? Russ with rwresearch.com here, and I'm going to give you an update. So it's been 1,000 miles. It's actually been 1,247 miles since I replaced the battery in this car. So this battery has had more time put on it, more distance, by me than the original owner of the 2025 Leaf, which I think is crazy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you my battery state of health, my battery state of charge, and all the things. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so currently, here's what it looks like. I will park my car. I'm about to where I'm going and show you. Alright, so boop, park. Okay, so I want to show you this information, because this is the information that really matters. So the amp hours went down to 111 point something, and then it came back up. The state of health went from, I think it was like 98.7 down to 97.08. And then our internal resistance, that's this HX number, is 108. So it actually went down and then back up. And then really low on the state of, or the internal resistance, the lower is bad. So it's kind of interesting. The weird thing is it says, 83 charges. It had 40 when I acquired it. But the weird thing is that when I plug the car in, if I put the car timer on, right, so in here there's a charging timer, and you can set the charging timer, and that's how you can not charge it to 100%, which I have not been doing. I've only done that once since I've been driving. But charging it to full allows these cells to balance out. Okay, so right now, cells are fine. They're at 13 millivolts. But this is the information that I think is important. And so, long story short, I've driven this more distance than the original owner in the 2015 Leaf, which is sitting right outside the window there, under the cover. So I put new shocks and struts from that old car, from the new car on the old car. I replaced the springs and the shocks in the back, and then I just got back from a car alignment. I just had them align the steering wheel, because when I replaced all that stuff, it got out of alignment, which is no bueno. So we fixed that. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Also, I got the service history here. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't know if there's any personal information on there. That's mine. The old person's still on there. But I want to see what kind of service history it's been, or it's had. Now, I don't know if that's the full service history, because that's Nissan's like factory, service history. I don't know who else had the car and who else brought it there to get it serviced. So, I don't know. But anyway, there's your update. I did rotate the tires just now, so that's my indicator. So maybe I'll give you guys an update every 1,000 miles. Maybe I'll do it every 2,500 miles, or 2,500 miles, or maybe I'll do it every 5,000, like every time I rotate the tires. Or maybe I'll do it like once in the summer, once in the winter. I don't know. But the fact that we've already put that many miles on it is crazy. If you'd like to know today's date, it is the 22nd of 2025. So 2/22/2025. All right, peace out, God bless, have a good day. I just got done doing a 20-mile bike ride. I'm tired. I'm going inside and take a shower. And I climbed Low Mountain. Peace. What's up, everybody? Russ with rwresearch.com. This is your 2,000-mile marker. We've driven over 2,000 miles, 2,100 and something. And I can't remember if this was on A or if it was on B. So trip A or trip B, I don't know. We're 21 or 23, something like that. But basically, I just wanted to kind of show you where we were at. So there you go. Now I learned something. Our charge cycles, see our amp hour and our state of health, our charge cycles here doubles or triples every time you plug it in with the charge timer on. So those are not real. Those are fake. Our cell voltages, I mean, we're moving, so they're going to change. If I give her some juice, she'll drop around a little bit, but they're pretty well balanced, actually. Pretty well balanced still. Can't complain. I've never seen them go out of 20 millivolt
difference. So as far as I'm concerned, we're looking pretty good. Those cells being slightly bent haven't really hurt anything, which I actually didn't expect that they would. As long as they're not like physically damaged, it should be fine. So there's your update. Just wanted to show you. We're good, baby. We put 2,000 miles on this thing. Since the 1,000 mile update, I did put shocks and struts from the crashed car onto this car. But that's it. So I am monitoring like every cell voltage and recording all the data and looking at all that stuff. And I haven't dove in it too much, but I don't really need to because the cells are pretty balanced and they look pretty good. So that's it. There's your Leaf project update. We put 2,000 miles on that battery. That's twice as many as the factory, I should say twice as many as the Leaf had on it when I got it from the auction website. So yeah, so far so good. That's all I got for you. Later. Whee! You dropped it. Oh no, that's not good for anything. Alright, boys and girls, here we are. 3,116 miles. So I reset this driving distance thing when we did, me and Elijah there, when we did the tests for the long distance driving. So that's been there for a very long time. Shut all these windows. Here's where we're at. So we're at 3,000 miles. Going here to my battery. It says we've charged it 186 times. So here's what I learned about this. This is how many times you plug the car in, even if you don't charge it. So when you have the timer running, or the charge timer, it ticks it once, and then when it starts charging, or if it doesn't charge and you plug it in 3 times, it counts 3 times. So it's kind of silly. Cell voltages, once again, I'm zoomed in, so, you know, in reality, they're all floating around there. Now, we are at a very low state of charge right now. We're at about 30-something%. I'm going to zoom this in, but we're at about 15 millivolts difference, which probably because we're just sitting so low on the state of charge. We're at 36%, so we ran that sucker all day. So, yeah, we have 111.91 amp hours. We have 96.94 state of health, and our HX, which is the internal resistance, we're at 111.62%. So there you go. We're getting some miles on this sucker, man, and so far she's running well. Actually, I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. So I'm gonna run these actually really low. I'm gonna run this sucker all the way down, and then charge it back up and see where we're at. There's your update. 3,105 miles since we put the new battery in. Rock my socks off. Alright, everybody. It's Russ with rwgresearch.com. It's a new day. We are at 4,000 miles on this guy. So I forgot to tell you this in the last update, but that timer rolls over at 99 hours. So actually, from what I can tell, we're at 99 hours plus 39 hours. So we're at 138 hours or something like that of driving time to get 4,000 miles out of this car. Here's your basic update. Once again, I'm zoomed way in. Don't worry about that. You know, of course, you can zoom out and it's more balanced. But, yeah, we are looking good. We're still at 111.76 amp hours. State of health, 96.81. Our internal resistance, 112.75. And charge cycles 202, which of course isn't accurate. I probably only charged it 100 or less because of the silly plug it in when the timer's on trickle. It tricks it to thinking it's charging every time you plug it in, even when it doesn't. And my charger at home has problems, so I have to plug it in twice most of the time. Okay, there you go. 15 millivolt. It bounces around. I've seen it go low, seen it go high, but I haven't really ever seen it get above 20. So the cells are still in check and we're good. I will say, I did some stuff here, so I just figured out you have to reset this to get it to work. So this was last summer on the old battery. We got it up to like 45 degrees Celsius, the battery. A couple times we got up there pretty high. 43, 44, 45. This little peak right there is on the new battery, and that's driving down the highway. So I charged it, drove it, charged it, drove it, and between all the high power charging and the driving, it got pretty warm.
And that was unfortunately with temperatures outside that were not very hot. You can see the temperature outside at that time was only like really down here. Actually, it was like 30 because we were coming home at night. That's concerning, because when it gets super stupid hot, it's gonna be a problem. But anyway, we've been doing good. Max charge when I charge it is like 36 something kilowatt hours, which should be directly relatable to the kilowatt hours on this screen. So I think I don't remember if it's 114 as a max or something, but anyway, long story short, we're still ripping this sucker. It's been driving great. This new suspension's been feeling wonderful. And there's your update. Have a good day. God bless. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. We did it. We made it 5,000. Let me go look at the... Okay, so what I forgot to tell you was this number here, this 75, it rolls over at 100. So 100 hours it rolled over. So we've driven 175 hours and 34 minutes. And we've driven 5,177.2 miles since the very beginning of putting this new battery in. I'll never reset that yet. Freaking amazing. Here's the battery data, if you'd like to know. So we really haven't lost a whole terrible lot in 5,000 miles. Now, I will say, right now, it's really nice out. The battery temperature is sitting about as hot as it typically gets. It never really got above 40 yet, because it's been really, really nice. So it's currently 77 degrees Fahrenheit, aka 28.5 degrees Celsius. And this is the internal battery temperature, which I charged it today at full power, and I drove it for an hour and a half to almost 2 hours today, but an hour and 10 minutes like continuous. And so that's why it's a little bit warmer than it typically is, but not bad. This graph does show temperature over time. So at one point in time, the battery got up to about 43. This is actually old data. Where is it? Right here. This is actually old data. So yeah, we're doing good. That was like last summer, right? And this is like the new data, but it's not full-time capture. So my wifey's about ready to get in the car. There's your 5,000 mile update. I'll probably end up doing these some more. And yeah, that's what we're doing. Pretty fantastic. Average speed 30 mile an hour. Hey y'all, messing up my video. We did it. We made it 5,000 miles.
Woohoo!
We put 5,000 miles on the new battery.
Yay, I'm here for it.
That's 5,000 more miles than what the original battery had on it, which was only 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
You
All right.
when you can go further.
I know, right? Instead of a bunch of small trips, you can make long trips.
Long trip. Like
Wow. Yeah, we went and picked Sally up for the airport because today, well, not today, 4 days, 5 days, we'll be doing our mountain climb, race, hike, Cerro Gordo, Silver Mine, Silver Run, thingamabob, which we don't get medals for, so we're going to make our own, apparently. All right. Peace and love. God bless. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
You got anything to say?
Nope.
Did we do good?
You did great.
I mean, things and stuff?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I
It's
love
working?
it. And I love driving it.
You do?
I do.
Oh, well, you were scared of it.
I was. I had to get used to it.
Did you?
I still have to get used to the sticky brakes sometimes, but
Yeah, the brakes are...
for the most
Well,
part,
there.
I got it down.
Wow!
Yep, doing good.
Wow!
Wow.
What's up, everybody? All right, look at that. We're almost to 6,000 miles. I will show it to you. This odometer's, where's my finger? This odometer's over 6,000. So that timer rolled over again. So I believe that's like 203 miles. Or sorry, 203 hours that we've been driving. So I'm fully charged. It's not quite fully charged, but I wanted to show you the data at this state of charge, and then I'll show it to you later once we actually roll over to the 6,000 mark. But it's basically fully charged. It's almost there.
I wanted to show you my temperature. So it has been getting hot. I'm talking about outside. So you can see, well, that's a bit wonky, isn't it? That's actually a bit weird. Anyway, the battery yesterday got up to about 45.5 at its max. This peak right there. So, overnight, you can see it's just recording data. It's dropped all the way back down here to like 36, 37. So that's great, and I even slow charged it. So during the summer, I've been slow charging it. It finally got hot. It is 7:42 in the morning, and it's 92 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, day has not even begun, and it's 92 outside. So it gets hot. So here's what we've been doing. We've been driving it slow, sticking with just over speed limit on highway, and just cruising around town, and slow charging it at the minimum rate, which actually we've been charging it on 220 volts. So it's really at about 3 kilowatt or less. If you charge it at the higher wattage, like the 5 kilowatt, then it'll start heating up. Otherwise, it'll actually cool off overnight. So here's the current data. We are at 37.4, 36.4, 34, and it's 35.5 outside. So that's not so bad. What I want to show you is the thing we always look at while it's charged almost fully. It is not fully charged yet. It's at like 96% or something. So there's your numbers. 252 L2s, L1s. By the way, those are still like half because every time I plug it in, it doesn't work. So we'll just divide that by 2 to be a real number. We are at 112.47 HX. 90. The state of health is at 96.37. So it's kind of leveling off. I'd say it's still, there's a curve from the very, very brand new battery down to like where it's kind of settled at and slowly degrade. So I think we're getting into the point where it's gonna stay for a while, as long as the heat doesn't damage it. And 111.25 amp hours. The cell voltages are almost balanced, 6 millivolts max right now because it's on the charger fully charged. So it's still pretty good. So I think that's about all the data I typically give. I will leave it at that, and we'll go from there. This is all messed up because of the way it is, but don't worry about that. All right, I will show you when my wife gets back. She's driving it to church today. We should roll over pretty close to or right out 6,000. Then I'll show you what the cell voltages and the temperatures look like when she gets back, because it'll be during the heat of the day, and we'll get a real number. So this peak back here was actually from a while back, like the old battery. Still haven't reset the old battery data. The new battery data starts about here. So this is all new battery data as of recently, but it only keeps so many hours, so I have to keep resetting it, which deletes the old data. Now, I will say that I have literally recorded every single drive. So that little thing right there is not recording right now, but every start and stop, okay, so every single trip that I've ever taken has been recorded. So for fun, this takes a moment to load. Hi everyone. This takes a moment to load because this thing has been recorded data for a very long time. There it is. Okay, so the old battery, all right, is at the top here. Okay, so it had 4,400 and something charges on it. We charged it, we drove it for a while, and then somewhere in the data, we'll see, boom, right there, brand new battery, started at 43 charges. All right, the amp hours was 113.97 at a state of health of 98.75. All right, hopefully that's good enough to see. So you can watch the state of health and the amp hours slowly drop just a little bit at a time as I drive it to where we're sitting right now. So if I graph this out, it'd be like plateauing right now. Right, it's not really dropping that much. So our very last one is there. Okay, so the dates, let's go look at the dates real quick. when we actually started driving this, which would be right there, 1/25/2025. And as of yesterday, it was 6/14. So anyway, there's just some of your datas, in case you're curious. There's all the datas on the bottom trip. I'll go back up here to the start trip, and you can see those data points on the new battery. That top line there. So just to give you an overall, because some people really dig this data. So there it is, dig it out of the video. Okay guys, my wife made it home. We are basically at 6,000K. We're so darn close. So darn close. Okay, so here's the battery. So as you can see, it's 44 outside, and the battery's only a few degrees over, which is actually really good. So we'll look at the bar graphs as we typically do here. So 15 millivolts. You can see all the cells are pretty well in check. It's really not that bad. 20 is like the max you really ever see it. 20 millivolts out. There's your temperature rise. So this morning it was here. As she drove it to church, it probably got about there, and then when she left, it went pretty high and then kind of stayed right there. So yeah, there you go. There's your overview for 6K, baby. 6,000 miles we put on this thing. Not too shabby at all. Alright, God bless, have a good day, and I will keep doing this until we do the next 5,000 probably. So I'll probably do the next 5,000 and I'll show you each one of those. Alright, I figured I'd make a quick follow-up video. So basically we didn't charge the car overnight. Alright, as you can see, it's still the same as it was, but I drove it to work today. So I only used 1,323 to go 10 miles. You can see we're right at 6K now, just shy. And this morning's temperature was, if my memory serves me right, it was like 34 degrees Celsius outside. So the battery dropped back down all the way to 36, and that's including my drive to work, which it did not heat up. In fact, if we look at the graph, it actually cooled down this morning. See that cooled down right there? So that was yesterday's drive home, that peak, and then it cooled down. You see how low the temperature was. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 24 degrees Celsius this morning, which is actually pretty darn cool. Sometimes it doesn't get below, well, right now it says it's 98 outside. Sometimes it doesn't get below 100 at night when it gets super hot. That's Fahrenheit up there. So basically, I just wanted to show you what it looked like now as it is after I drove it, after it sat. And it's really hot in here, so I'm gonna go back and do what I was doing. I just wanted to give that short snippet, and then I'll drive it home today, the same 10.5 miles, and we'll see what the temperature gradient is, because obviously now this battery will not cool off anymore because it's hotter outside than it is in the battery. So we'll see what it looks like right before I leave, and then once I get home. Just to give some context of how the non-thermal management of these batteries is a problem, but if you don't supercharge them and you keep carefully basically trickle charging them at a decent rate to get you around town, it's survivable without damaging the battery. At least that's the hope. We'll see at the end of the day here, see how hot it gets today. For context, I'm in the sun. My car is actually in the sun during most of the day, and then this beautiful tree gives me a little bit of shade towards the afternoon. Alright, it's 107. We are currently sitting at 38.4, which is exactly where it was when I left this morning, actually. So we're going to go on our drive home and we'll see what happens. 42.5 outside. It's not quite at the heat of the day. Alright, boys and girls, we've officially done it. 6,000 miles, 107 degrees. So all the way home, took us 11.8 miles. I went a little bit, I had to go pick up some water for us to survive out here in the desert. Outside temp, 42.5. We're at 40C, and obviously that's our chart. rose a tiny bit, but look at the difference between last night and the temperature today. That's a big difference. It usually doesn't get this cool, so it's kind of surprising that it is. So there's your official "here you doing," and now you know. Now you know. It is possible to keep the battery at a decent rate, but if you drive down the highway, it's not happening. So we rose just a tiny bit. There's the final data. I will make another one of these videos every 1,000 miles. I'll record a snippet, and we'll capture this data along with the cells and also temperatures and such and such. I can't speak. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Let me know what you think in the comments. Yes, I have thought about putting a thermal management system on this battery, and I decided against it, and it has been a very mild summer. It's 107 right now, Fahrenheit, outside, and it's like mid-afternoon. Generally, it's about 115 to 120 at this time of year. That's a problem. We had a very mild summer so far. It may or may not stay that way. We'll find out. But at the end of the day, I've thought about it. I've got lots of ideas of how to do a thermal management on this battery, but they're all a little time consuming, and I didn't know if I really wanted to do it. Obviously, this battery in the old car lasts 10 years. This car's been here in the desert its whole life, so it's possible to get that many years out of it, but obviously that battery degraded, and this one will too if I don't take care of it. I don't know why Nissan decided not to put a thermal management system in this battery, but that's not my problem. Well, it is now, but wasn't my problem. I guess it is my problem now. Anyway, long story short, I probably will do something. Alright, I figured I'd show you this one last thing. So I've went 11.2 miles, 23 minutes. We have went downhill 466 feet. And this is how much power I've used to get here. I went real nice and easy. Interestingly enough, if I click on this, it'll tell me how much I regened. So 707 watt hours was regenning, and 990 watt hours was consumed. So the total amount of power transferred was about 1,700. But what's interesting to me is that this is why my brakes last a long time, because I am regenerating over half of what I've actually used to get going, if that makes sense. So, quite interesting. Yes, I am going downhill, but you can also regen going up. It'll be about half that. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. And I did not charge it overnight, let it sit overnight. Temperatures are back in a reasonable area. They'll probably get up to 39 on the way home, and then I'll trickle charge it overnight. So we can keep this thing below 40°C if I'm real careful when the temperature is less than 110 degrees. We'll see when it's 120. That's a different challenge. Well guys, I've ended this video about 10 times now. I put a few more hours and a few more miles on this, and I wanted to show you this week's sort of temperature, okay? So, the temperature, this is basically day 1, 2, 3, and 4, if I'm not mistaken. The blue is the outside temperature. You can see how dramatic it's been swinging. So, this is the morning, this is the afternoon. Oh, sorry, this is the morning, this is the afternoon. Back and forth, back and forth. So, yesterday when I left, it was pretty hot outside, and the temperature went up pretty hot. I parked it at this temperature, and it rose to that temperature without me doing anything, which is pretty wild. So anyway, there's your temperature curve, and I just wanted to show you, like, basically just the car sitting around. It gets hot. Today, strangely enough, you know, it wasn't as dramatic as temperature, but it didn't really get as hot. So it's like the difference between, you know, a few degrees Celsius outside is like a dramatic on this battery. Also, air conditioning, that's how many watts I'm using right now, 1,300. I've got this thing set to 81 on 4 blower fans, so I can drive around with this on 80 and 3 blower fans, and it'll float somewhere around 1,200 watts. So that's not too bad for efficiency. And in reality, I can drive this car for a whole week to work and back, you know, driving 10 miles there and 10 miles back, and using about 5 kilowatt hour per trip, round trip. And charge it once overnight while it's cool, just trickle charge it, and then run it all week, and I can keep the temperature in check. However, I'm not driving on the highway, and I'm not going long distances. I could go long distances, it wouldn't be too bad. But even here, just parking here, you can see it dropping off as I slowed down getting home. So at the end of the day, what I'm telling you is I'm probably going to put a cooling system on this battery so I can take it long trips and the battery will last longer. That's the whole idea, right? And that's all I got for you. Okay, for real, that's it. There's your last update for a while. God bless, have a good day, and as always, read the Bible more. Later.